Saw You was a song that Jeffrey and Kenny co-wrote together early in the Rude Awakening career. This was November, December of '85, because we played it the first time at the first Autumn Trails, which was in late December of that same month and year.
Yeah, I remember being at Steve's house, and in fact, I don't really remember if we had lyrics first, if I had the riff first. I remember, it's weird, I can remember the actual color of the paper that Jeffrey wrote the lyrics. It was this yellow legal pad, and he'd written, these lyrics, and I don't know if we wrote the riff then, or if I had the riff way before then. I mean, it was just one of those weird songs where, again, two completely non-related things came together for one song.
Yeah, When I Saw You was once again, it's hard to believe I actually made an A in Coach Anderson's history class, because I spent most of the time writing lyrics in there. But I wrote those lyrics. Kenny put the music to them, and I ended up playing that one at the first Autumn Trails, I believe.
Back before I got the band, I would hang around a lot with the guys, and if they were playing somewhere, I would come hang out, and every now and then if they were playing a show and they'd want an introduction, I would come up and introduce them. When I Saw You, they played at the first Winsboro City Auditorium concert that they played, and I can remember that song from back then, and it also ended up being a song that we recorded on one of our first video trips. So
I wasn't there at the inception of it. The story goes that they were writing it at Steve's house. I came in a little bit late on it. It was another one of those songs that I was prone to do, where it was basically a verse and a chorus similar to the other songs that we've discussed on here, like Here We Go Again, or Next Time, maybe, First Impression. These songs that just had, you could never look back, you just kind of had the same verse and chorus. And they had that, and they had the intro, and I always thought the lyrics were very simple but very effective on that song. I thought Jeffrey was a very good lyricist, especially in the early days, coming up with lines from songs that were like, oh, this sounds as good as something you hear on the radio. Instead of sounding like something a 14-year-old from East Texas would write. He was pretty good stuff. And if we would entertain ourselves, because we didn't always write together, so if somebody would bring in something that we didn't have a lot to do with, and we liked it, it was just like hearing a song on the radio from another artist, whether it was the artist was Deep Purple or Van Halen or Jeffrey and Kenny. It was something you didn't have a lot to do with, and you could listen to it objectively and go, yeah, I think if I heard that on the radio, I would like that. Well, for me, that was how When I Saw You was presented. I know in the studio, when we can't record it, we recorded it along with 17, and I think we actually did Talk Dirty to Me as well. Jeff was it was his first trip with us to the studio, and I remember Jeff playing on some of those tracks.
One of the first studio trips I took to GM Records in Claywater with the guys is we did two originals, 17 and When I Saw You. We also did Talk Dirty to Me by Poison, which was a relatively new song at the time. But that was sort of my first experience in the studios. We actually went in and recorded.
And I kind of came back into it later on before we went to record it in the studio. I came in and worked with Jeffrey on adding a verse that didn't exist in the original writing, and Jeffrey had come up with this verse, and I think I helped him a little bit with a line or two in it, and then with the arrangement part of it. But it's pretty much a Jeffrey and Kenny song, one of our earliest originals that we did.
That was one of the earliest songs. When we started out, just pretty much like any band, we probably played mostly covers of songs that we liked, but this is one of the early originals, and we were excited to be writing our own stuff. We didn't really care, at that point even, we weren't so critical of the quality, we just wanted to write as much original stuff as possible. So That was actually one of the early good ones. So early, in fact, like I had mentioned earlier, I can't remember what came first, chicken or egg, lyrics or riff, but we were happy with it.
I remember really trying to produce this one up, and a lot of the ideas we had at that original session, which was January of '87, a lot of those came into fruition on the new album. So when you hear the new album, the set version on the album, and it's on YouTube, there's a video out there, you can listen to it. It's kind of what we were hearing in our head with the backup vocals and everything. And it's just like anything else. We had better ideas. We had good ideas when we were young. We just weren't good enough players and arrangers to get those ideas down on tape like we had them in our heads. So that was one of those that we recorded for the new album I was very proud of.